Hello, my friends, and happy December 7th, and welcome to Master MicroStrategy, where you and I are working on mastering the genius that is Michael Saylor, that is MicroStrategy 7 days a week. So I know that headline is pretty intense. So I want to dive into it right away because this is called the ballistic acceleration model. And this model is pretty cool. I'll share the link in the show notes, of course. But this shows you, excuse me, this shows you what has been happening with Bitcoin over time here, and and also what's been happening with MicroStrategy over time in accordance with Bitcoin. And then it shows you over time as Bitcoin increases what MicroStrategy is expected to do. And so there are definitely people, by the way, that are calling for 200,000 Bitcoin in 2025. There are people that are calling for 300,000 Bitcoin in 2025. There are people that are calling for 500,000 to a million Bitcoin price in 2025. Who knows what it's going to end up being? We're hoping for a bullish year. We're expecting for a bullish year. Things are looking good, but only time will tell for very obvious reasons. But let's just kind of go ahead and hit the 300K right here. Let's say Bitcoin gets to 300K. Then you can see where MicroStrategy goes at the price. So at the price point of right here, 250K. So if Bitcoin only does a 1.5x, by the way, going from 100,000 to 250,000, this model is showing that the estimated MicroStrategy price is 10,000. That's if Bitcoin gets to 250. Again, remember the word ballistic. This is the ballistic acceleration model. This is potentially the most bullish thing you may ever see about MicroStrategy. So this is not something that is going to happen or will happen. This is just something that this individual put together that I'm showing you right now. And again, I'll link up so you can do some more research on this actual website. He's got a good MNAV Explorer, a good projection. He has got a good blog. And heck, you can donate if you are really impressed by what he has going on. Let's go ahead up to 300,000 for Bitcoin. And there you have the 20K price point for MicroStrategy. Actually, more than 20K, almost $21,000 for MicroStrategy. Again, this is the ballistic acceleration model. This is not financial advice by this individual. This is not financial advice by myself. Nothing in this video is financial advice. You need to consult a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. But listen, this is a fun tool. We're having fun, for long-term holders. These are things that come out where it's like, wow, what could happen if the Michael Saylor thesis really plays through and he just continues to acquire more Bitcoin and Bitcoin continues to go up. And then everything that Michael Saylor is creating as the Bitcoin treasury company of the world continues to get more and more valuable to bond companies, to insurance companies, nation states come in. I like to say game theory has been activated. So who knows what's going to happen? And this is just an example. One thing I did want to pull back to the 120 and show you this red dot is where we are right now. So according to this model, MicroStrategy is actually undervalued by 12.9%. Now, very likely the reason for that is Michael Saylor, as we know, is very likely very often hitting the ATM. He is selling shares at the market. So he is selling shares of MicroStrategy, taking that money and buying more Bitcoin for it, which is probably why on Monday or Sunday next week, we'll see another MicroStrategy purchase announcements. We'll see how many shares MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor went ahead and acquired this past week. So he's been hitting the ATM, which has probably, potentially been depressing the price a little bit of MicroStrategy as he's been selling. But it's been accretive to us, by the way, accretive to the shareholders, because as you can see on the MSTR tracker, which I'll pull up in a second, our Bitcoin per share has been going up. Our yield has been going up, which is what we love as shareholders. We love seeing that because if you're into MicroStrategy, hopefully you love Bitcoin. Hopefully you understand that Bitcoin is pure value, is pure capital, is the best form of storing capital, potentially of our lifetime, potentially of all time. I mean, time will tell, of course, but these are things that some of us believe that are pretty bullish on Bitcoin and therefore bullish on MicroStrategy. So have some fun with this. I'll drop this link in the show notes. Again, this is something that is very far from set in stone. This is just a projection of an absolute ballistic potential of MicroStrategy. Let's move on over to the MSTR-tracker tab. Stock price is at $395. We climbed one of the S&P 500 ratings to 108. Bitcoin, as we are recording this now, somewhere around 99,500, still 402,100 Bitcoin. Hopefully, again, we see that increase next week. When the announcement, it probably has already increased, but we'll see what the announcement is. Our Bitcoin value per share, 170. Again, a couple weeks ago when I was doing these videos, it was like 120, 130, 140. This number just keeps going up, which is exciting. The NAV premium's 2.3x. Again, we can see that go to 3 to 4 to 5 in the future, and then flex back down to 3 to 2. Who knows with the NAV, but it's going to be volatile. And now, right now, 16 billion in unrealized profits for a return percentage of 70%. I found another thing I wanted to share with you here. I've shared this the last couple of videos. These are the catalysts that are coming up. Days until the Microsoft shareholder vote, 3 days until the QQQ inclusions, only 6 days away. This December Fed meeting, which is pretty important, is 11 days away. And then, of course, if MicroStrategy is included, the reconstitution will happen on December 20th, which will be very bullish for MicroStrategy. A couple news articles that I found interesting that just came out. MicroStrategy's market cap, secret weapon for gaming, unveiling the blockchain connection. This is one thing that I'm personally very bullish on. I'm bullish on AI for cryptocurrency and blockchain, and I'm bullish on gaming. I really am bullish on gaming. I think there's going to be some amazing games that are created and built on the blockchain for reasons I won't get into now. But to me, I've been doing a lot of research on it, and I'm very bullish on that. So this article just kind of goes through the future of gaming, where MicroStrategy maybe is going to be playing a role in this. Because again, when you have so much money with MicroStrategy, you can start doing things as a Bitcoin treasury to help industries and verticals and niches like gaming, like artificial intelligence. So exploring the synergy, the strategic opportunities, watch for future innovations. Very good article, and I will link this up in the show notes. This, by the way, is one of the best articles that I've ever written. I didn't write this. That I've ever read about MicroStrategy's volatility. The title is "MicroStrategy's Secret Sauce is Volatility, Not Bitcoin." Most of the news articles I go over, I'm usually making fun of the news articles because they're just reporting absolute crap because they've done zero research and they're just trying to get people to click and to read. This one's an amazing article. I'm going to read this again, actually, after I put this video out because it is so good. It goes through the volatility and why it's so important and why it's good and why volatility, again, is good. Volatility, as Michael Saylor is known to say, is a feature. It's not a bug. This is a great article. I can't go through the details now because it would take a long time and it wouldn't do the article justice, but I will put the link in the show notes. Please check it out if you have any interest in as to why MicroStrategy's volatility is a feature, not a bug, why it's so interesting. She brings up some other amazing points in this article as well. I absolutely love it. Let's get into the tweets. The tweet that I wanted to share first is from Michael Saylor. This is great. He tweeted, "One Nakamoto is a Bitcoin superpower." And guess what? All the spot ETFs together have one Nakamoto, which is 1.1 million Bitcoin. The only other person that has a Nakamoto is Satoshi Nakamoto himself. And it's very likely that those Bitcoin will never move. This is kind of making me think, hey, MicroStrategy is down here at 402,000. I think I know what Michael Saylor's goal is here. I think I know what he's saying here. Very bullish for MicroStrategy holders. If Michael Saylor adamantly and actually sees a path to 1,100,000 Bitcoin, that is unbelievable. That would be absolutely amazing. So good for you, Michael. Keep shooting for the stars, brother. This was a great tweet where this person, Arctic4, wrote, "I mean, shareholders are not happy when you file 21 billion ATM in the span of 3 years and then use 11 billion of it in 2 months. Come on." And then BitStrategy, who's a great follow and who actually knows what he's talking about, says, "Not happy, I'm ecstatic." Now, why did he tweet that? Because every MicroStrategy holder who understands what Michael Saylor is doing is ecstatic. He's able to hit the ATM and to buy more Bitcoin and to just cement his place as the leader and MicroStrategy's place as the leader in this Bitcoin revolution. Why wouldn't he? So we're taking advantage of this. We're on this for the ride. Only people that like Arctic4 that haven't done the research, that don't understand what MicroStrategy is doing, those are the individuals that are frustrated right now. But the individuals like BitStrategy, who's put in hundreds of hours, potentially thousands of hours, he gets it, I get it. I hope you're getting it or already get it. Really exciting stuff. I wanted to share this about from the Bitcoin Therapist. He wrote, "This is not priced in," by Pierre Rochard. This could be the last Bitcoin cycle. Saylor has unlocked the speculative attack. Now, one thing I do want to say here is the most dangerous words when it comes to investing is this time it's different. So I'm not saying it's going to be different. I mean, we definitely could see another cycle, another big drawdown. I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows, but there are people speculating because of nation states coming in, because of because of the ETFs buying so much, because of MicroStrategy buying so much, because of other companies like MicroStrategy, doing the MicroStrategy strategy, the Bitcoin standard strategy. Are we going to see as big of a drawdown? Who knows? I mean, time will tell. But some people are starting to speculate we may not, which is interesting. V says, for the uninitiated, the lazy, the sleep deprived, the tired or hungry, equals, he said, barely. He means barely. He's speaking to the bears who ain't put in 10 hours, let alone the minimum of 100 or more. I'm off to watch the bull race. The ticks are selling for 100 hours and slowly increasing gamma and time value, inverse theta. Have a nice day. So again, this is just kind of hammering home that the individuals that have put in the time, the hours to understand what Bitcoin is, and then of course what MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor are doing, these people are just unabashedly bullish and they're looking long term, and it's exciting times. So I'm going to move into a video now. I hope you enjoy this video. It's again Michael Saylor's words coming at you. This is just a great clip with a lot of great value bombs. I'll let you sit back and enjoy. And Michael Saylor, take it away.
We get to 2024, and then we discovered the value of volatility. I mean, really understand it. Because in January of 2024, Bitcoin isn't an asset class. And the second week, the SEC approves those ETFs. And then you start having the snide comments like, well, now we don't need MicroStrategy anymore. They're like just a proxy. They're like a clumsy ETF substitute. We'll just put our money into the ETFs. But what happened at the same time was the halving was coming, and all of the investors, the vol traders, went through a secular rotation, and they started selling the Bitcoin mining stocks and looking for something else to trade. So if you track the liquidity in the options market and in the equity market, there was a major shift in Q1 and early Q2 where a lot of the volatility in the options traders and equity traders, they basically hopped off a dozen Bitcoin mining companies onto MicroStrategy because the Bitcoin miners were going to the halving where their revenues get cut in half. So when that happened, our options interest exploded and we became the number one options market. When the SEC approved the ETFs, they didn't approve options. Okay, so today our options market is like $95 billion. Our options market is the same size as our market cap. And then we discovered that the real strategic opportunity we had was we can construct a balance sheet of permanent capital with leverage. And when you take Bitcoin and make it 100% of your stock, you're going to trade probably if Bitcoin is trading with a 60 vol, you're going to trade with a 75 vol just because of the uncertainty of what the management team is going to do. Like I have the option to sell equity or not sell equity, or we might do something or not do something. I have the option to do debt or not do debt. That option is going to move you from 60 vol to 70 or 80 vol. Then if you actually execute the option by selling equity at a premium or by issuing convertible bonds, you move to 90 or 100 vol. So all of a sudden, we had an equity trading with 100. I think today it's like 120 vol, basically double Bitcoin equity. And now here's the big idea, right? The S&P is 15 ARR, 15 vol. Bitcoin is 60 ARR, 60 vol. It has been that way for 4 years. We take a company with permanent capital and we create something which is 100 or 120 vol, 100 to 120 ARR. Okay, now that attracts all the options traders, all the arbitrageurs, all the Bitcoin maximalists. It becomes hot money. The call rate, if you hold a dollar bill for 30 days, you're getting SOFR at 30, you're getting 480 basis points or something like that. If you hold $1 million worth of the S&P index for 30 days, you can get like 15% interest by selling the 30-day calls at the market. If you hold Bitcoin, IBIT, for 30 days, well, you couldn't sell the options until just recently, but now you can sell them and generate about 100% interest. If you sell the MicroStrategy call option at the market, it's 220% interest rate. Okay, just to hold the share. And so all of a sudden, what we've done is we've created a levered flywheel on top of a product which is already 4x as volatile and 4x as performant as the S&P. The result is our liquidity explodes, our options interest explode, and we do a convert bond in Q1. A week later, we do another convert bond. That's the first time in history anybody ever did two convert bonds back to back, 2 consecutive weeks. Then we do another one in Q2. Then we do another one in Q3. Then we do $1 billion of ATM in Q3. And then we start to get into a groove and we realize that at the end of the day, the market's going to rally around some leader. And you're either going to lead in a decisive way or you're going to sneak around and apologetically be opportunistic, or you're going to hide and wait. And so we just decided we're going to lead. I mean, John D. Rockefeller decided to roll up the entire petrochemical industry, and he bought out all of his competitors, all of his customers, all of his vendors. And first he did it for cash, and they would say, okay, well, pay me this. He'd go to the bank, he'd borrow the money, and he'd give him the cash. And at some point, people in the industry said, Standard Oil stock is worth more money than the cash. And he just started issuing the stock. And Henry Flagler, of course, built Florida with Standard Oil stock. And so there's this point in the market where the market decides it trusts you and it wants to rally behind you. And we got to the point in October 30th, and we just said, look, we're going to put the question to our shareholders. Do you want us to basically build this business or not? And after 40 consecutive Bitcoin purchases, after laying the foundation of a Bitcoin, development company, after actually rolling out the KPI of BTC yield, which is, we just sold $1 billion of equity. It was backed by 350 million in Bitcoin. We bought back the billion in Bitcoin. We captured 650 million of the arbitrage. That works out to 4%. That 4% is like a Bitcoin dividend to the shareholders, but we're going to keep it on the balance sheet, roll it forward, and reinvest it. Once we constructed that model, we just said, look, we're going to issue $21 billion of equity, and we're going to issue $21 billion of fixed income, whether it's convertible bonds or preferred shares or corporate bonds. And we're going to do the fixed income to stay levered. We're going to do the equity when it's at a massive premium to the underlying assets to capture the yield and to de-lever. If you want to get behind us on that, that's the plan. We put it out there. The next day, stock trades up. We outperform every Magnificent Seven company. We outperform Bitcoin. We outperform every Bitcoin company. Yeah. So the shareholders spoke. I mean, by the way, it's not a surprise to me. I was 95% certain they would like it because I meet with them and they were like, this is the most brilliant thing ever. Yeah, just keep doing this. So after that, we had a good week, and then November 5th came. And there's a red sweep, and all of a sudden you have a pro-Bitcoin White House, a pro-Bitcoin Senate, a pro-Bitcoin Congress, pro-Bitcoin cabinet. Bitcoin rages from 68,000 and 99,000. The short of it is we raised $10 billion in 4 years after our initial announcement, and that's like progressively work and learning. We're learning, and the market's learning to trust us, right? We're building a relationship. My relationship's not just with my equity investors, it's with the convertible bond investors. You meet with a convertible bond investor, say, I saw you last quarter. I saw you, you yelled at me for this and this. I fixed this. I'll do this. We're partners together. I promise you I will do this. I'm not going to mess with your opportunity. I'm not going to hedge it. I'm not going to steal your trading opportunity. I will do this and this and this. The guy goes, well, and I'm looking forward to this future. The guy goes, thank you for your candor. $500 million order. 50. Like, if you have trust and people understand you, they'll give you your money. So what happened next is we raised $13.5 billion in 4 weeks. And if you look at my tweet, my tweet this morning is basically, we generated about a $9 billion plus gain for our shareholders in those 4 weeks. We're making hundreds of millions of dollars a day. It's tricky for conventional investors to understand it because you're not capturing shareholder value creation via GAAP accounting, because for 2 reasons. One, Bitcoin's indefinite and intangible, but 2, in the history of 50 years of the capital markets, everybody's been on the US dollar standard, which is zero vol, zero ARR against the dollar. And this is the Bitcoin standard, 60 vol, 60 ARR against the dollar. We don't have the math, the accounting to keep up with that in the traditional system. And that's why we have to put forward things like a BTC yield, a BTC spread, a BTC gain. And those that understand BTC, they get it and they're long and they love it. And those that don't understand BTC or don't understand this or just aren't really interested in putting in the work, they just think it's sham crazy and they're just going to short it or they're just going to whatever. So that's where we are today, is from desperation to opportunistic to strategic to identity. At this point, we're a Bitcoin treasury company. I'm on a mission. My mission is I'd like to see the entire world recapitalize on Bitcoin, every company, every family, every individual, every government. I think it's an economic protocol for prosperity. I think it's as important as English or fire or electricity or steel. I just think it's good technology. It's a good idea. We're reaching the fun stage. The next 4 years, I think, are kind of fun. We get to do a lot of interesting things to help people.
And there you have it, my friends, another episode of Master MicroStrategy, where I'm bringing you the genius that is Michael Saylor, that is MicroStrategy, 7 days a week. Remember, this is not financial advice. Please consult a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. But wow, another great day in the world. It's here. It's Saturday. I'm working for you. I'm creating this content for you. So if you like it, share it with your community, people that you think might need to watch this or get more knowledge about MicroStrategy. I would love a subscribe, a comment. Some of the comments have been pretty chippy recently. There's been some backlash that I think you might like to check out. But, please let me know what's going on in the comment section. Love the likes, and you are awesome for being on this journey. And I hope I'm providing value to you. And please remember, there is no second best.